Well, what a beautiful day. I always love coming to Okaloosa County. It's a great place, not only in our state, but in our country. And we have a really great announcement here today. So joining me in the world's luckiest fishing village is FWC Chairman Rodney Barretto, FWC Executive Director Eric Sutton, Coastal Conservation Association Brian Gorski and Trip Achman, Okaloosa County Tourist Development Jennifer Adams, and then we have captains Justin Leake, Peter Wright, Matt Smith, Todd Jones, and Kyle Pitts. We're fortunate in Florida. We've got a lot going on in the state. Obviously, a lot of people want to visit. I mean, I don't know specifically like with this restaurant, but I know people have done fantastic here, particularly over the last 2 years. This was one of the places you can come. I remember the summer of 2020, you actually could be normal in Northwest Florida. And so people from all over the country would come, and it was really, really exciting. And I know people had a great 2021. We're doing well in 2022. Our state has, we have more jobs than we did pre-COVID, actually. We got a lot of job openings too. And if you look at our budget, this current fiscal year budget is $101.5 billion. The fiscal year ends June 30th. And to put that in perspective, New York is the closest to us in population. They have 3 million fewer people, and yet their budget's over twice the size of ours, very bloated. We have better infrastructure and roads and services, higher performing K through 12 schools, #1 rated public university system, but we're doing that with no income tax and the lowest per capita tax burden. We don't know the exact numbers right now because the revenue still comes in, and it's coming in ahead of above estimate almost every month. But by June 30th, we'll know for this fiscal year, our budget surplus may end up being about $20 billion out of $101.5 billion. So we've never had anything that big in Florida. And so as we look forward, we want to continue to be good fiscal stewards, but it is prudent to make sure that you have adequate reserves, because I'm quite frankly concerned and worried about Biden plunging us into a recession. If you look what he did when he came in, decided to print trillions and trillions of dollars, and the result of that's been the worst inflation that we've seen in this country in 4 decades. And it's killing people all across the board to have to pay so much for gasoline, have to pay so much for bills, have to pay so much for food. And that's really, and they say it's 8.5%, but if you look at the things that matters, it's gone up way more than that. So that's what you're dealing with. And they said it wouldn't happen. Then they said it was just a blip. And now they're trying to blame Putin, but it's been going up for over a year. So this is a real problem. And I think the fear is that they're going to do monetary policy, some of this other stuff is really going to put a hamper on the economy potentially. Now, I think Florida is well positioned to withstand some of that turmoil because we've been fortunate to draw a lot of investment. But the reality is, if you look 2-3 years out, there's a not insignificant chance that Biden plunges us into a recession. And so we're prepared. If we have problems on the revenue side, years in advance, we have the ability to plug that immediately. And I think that's the prudent way to do it. You want to make sure that you have the type of reserves necessary to sustain the state if you have to deal with some of these things. So we're proud of that, and we're going to keep doing it. We're also proud of the fishing industry and what that means for the state of Florida. We are the fishing capital of this country, really the fishing capital of the world. We have people who come from all over the country and all over the world to come and fish in Florida. FWC estimates that $13.8 billion to the state's economy and 120,000 jobs are all tied to this industry. And so we know anglers across Florida love what they do. They love to do it. It's a great thing for families, and I know it's been a tradition for many, many people. So that's what we're here today to announce. And I'm really excited to be able to announce that for the 2022 Gulf Red Snapper season, it will last a total of 57 days and include both summer and fall season. And that will be the longest combined season that has ever been available for anglers since state management began. The 2022 Gulf Red Snapper summer season will open June 17th and run consecutively through July 31st. This will include Father's Day and July 4th weekends. Anglers will also have the opportunity to continue the season later in the year with a fall Gulf Red Snapper season. In the fall, there'll be 12 additional days, the longest fall season since state management began, for anglers to catch red snapper in the Gulf, including Veterans Day weekend and Thanksgiving weekend. So these additional days of fishing means that families can take advantage of the holiday weekends to have a great time off of Florida's coast in places like Destin. We know that they love the red snapper here in Destin, and why not? I mean, it's a great thing. This has been going on since the 1800s, and so we appreciate what it means to the culture of our state. We appreciate what it means to the economy of our state, and we're really fortunate to be able to make this announcement here today. So this is going to be a big deal for a lot of people, and I really look forward to all the anglers being able to enjoy this expanded red snapper opportunities. All right, we're going to hear from some folks from FWC, so we'll start with Rodney Barretto.
Thank you, Governor. I traveled here this morning from Miami, and we're open down there too, thanks to you. So listen, it's really, on behalf of the commission, I'm really happy of the governor's announcement this morning. We're given more opportunity to go red snapper fishing in the Gulf than ever in the history of Florida. But I'd also be remiss if I didn't highlight some of the governor's efforts with the environment, the clean water, the Everglades, our beloved Everglades, the environment in itself. This is the first governor who is a Republican governor who has put all his efforts into the environment and making it better for all Floridians. And I want to congratulate the governor on behalf of that. The governor, I often talk to the governor, and he instills in us, and he says, listen, let's be a trend setter, not a trend follower. So Florida, really, if you look around the United States, most fish and wildlife agencies look at Florida. They look at what we're doing. They look at our management practices. So I want, Governor, with that, I just want to let you know, we want to thank you for all the resources you provide the agency to allow us to do the job for all Floridians. And we want to thank you for all this opportunity to make a better fishing season, a better environment, to enjoy the environment. Thank you.
I want to thank also the governor for his support, and Chairman Barretto. They are staunch leaders in our environment and maintaining our high quality of life. Governor, first of all, nice shirt. Really like that shirt. And I also just want to mention, and I've said it before, but I think it was 3 days on the job, the governor was taking an interest into what we were doing, and particularly in the health of our fish and wildlife. So I want to thank you for that, and it's been continued support. But I also want to thank two other groups. One is the tremendous team that we have at FWC that work tirelessly to bring the most access to the resource that we can, but they couldn't do their job without all the folks here and all the stakeholders and all the fishermen. It's such a great honor to be in this position, to serve the public, to serve these folks. But it's just been tremendous to get to know all of the people around the state that enjoy the fishing and hunting and access and environment. So, Governor, Chairman, thank you once again.
Okay. All right.
All right, well, I want to thank FWC. Okay, we're going to hear from some folks locally, so we'll have Justin Leake.
Thank you, Governor. You know, recreational fishing is a big deal here in Florida. It's one of the largest economic drivers. Up here in the Panhandle, the red snapper is one of our most important fisheries. This is a really big step in the right direction for us. We want to thank you, Governor, for not only helping manage these fisheries, but also with your clean water initiatives. What you're doing right now is going to help us have access to these fisheries and ensure that it's here for our kids to enjoy as well. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Jennifer Adams.
Thank you, Governor. We are just really thankful that Governor DeSantis chose Destin Fort Walton Beach for this announcement today. I assure you locals are already put in for time off to go snapper fishing. We love red snapper here in Destin Fort Walton Beach, and they love our waters, mostly because we have the most active artificial reef program in the state. I am truly blessed. My Board of County Commissioners has allowed me to develop my own coastal resources team where their main focus is fostering our natural resources, including our fisheries. This year alone, we are going to invest almost $3 million in growing our artificial reef network. To date, we've created over 300 artificial reefs in the Gulf of Mexico. And don't forget the 8 deep water buoys pioneered and named after Captain Kelly Wines. These fads are the only buoys of their kind in the continental United States. For decades, we've been proud to be known as the world's luckiest fishing village. And as you stand here today in Destin Harbor, you can see why. We are home to the largest fleet in the nation with more than 300 for-hire fishing operations. There are more than 2 million fishing trips that are taken annually in Destin Fort Walton Beach. In 2019, recreational saltwater fishing contributed more than $74 million to the economy with more than 830 jobs. Captain Jim Green is here today, and he is the president of our fleet and the captain of the American Spirit. Last year, he took almost 10,000 anglers out to fish for red snapper. The impact of fishing extends far beyond our docks. This past year, visitors spent more than $736 million in our community, above and beyond the $33 million that we collected in tourist development taxes. That money goes directly back to our local economy of restaurant owners, charter captains, paddleboard operators, and other tourism-related industries. This provides us the opportunity to introduce new product and innovations like the Artificial Reef Program and Little Adventures. One of the most popular little adventures that we have is definitely charter fishing. Our experienced captains have taken generations of families out on the water, and because our deep water is so accessible, we can get kids outside very quickly and teach them how to fish. And after a long day, don't forget that you can bring your fish back up to many of our local restaurants, and they'll cook your catch that was just recently swimming in the harbor. Destin Fort Walton Beach is a place of initiation, and we sure love it when kids come off the boat holding their fish, and that smile on their face is priceless. So again, we're happy that you chose Destin here to come here today, Governor DeSantis. Your bold decisions to open us up, our tourism economy in 2020, are the reasons for our success, and we're very happy for a snapper season to begin. Thank you.
Well, we're excited. I know it's going to mean a lot to a lot of folks, not only here, but in other parts of the state, and really people around the country that come to do this. And so we're happy to be a part of leading on this issue as well. And is there anything else I can do for Okaloosa County while I'm here? You guys got anything else you need? Huh? Well, we've done what's that? Okay. All right. Okay. Well, do we have any questions from anybody? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, hi. One quick question, Governor. So this main decision, did it come from quota from last year, or just needing more days? What was the big push to extend it this year?
Well, the big push for me was I know how it's important to everybody, and so I asked FWC. I was like, guys, let's see what we can do. Let's use the most up-to-date data. Rodney, do you want to talk about what you guys did?
Yeah, so we looked at the data as well, and then we realized that if we added weekends and kind of broke it up so it wasn't just a concentrated fishing season, that it gave more people an opportunity, especially working people who have to work during the week, and this will give them an opportunity on the weekend to go fishing. So that was the thinking behind it.
Yes.
What were the days of the fall season?
The fall season days, I have them right here. They were, so 12 days, including Veterans Day weekend and Thanksgiving weekend. And so we'll put the actual whatever dates on the calendar. We'll get that out when we do the press release. But we thought having those holiday weekends was very important to have. So yes, sir.
Governor, the decision from to overturn the mask mandate for airplanes, trains, and automobiles. The CDC recently said yesterday that they were going to at least ask the White House to fight and to reinstate those bans. What is your take on that?
there should be no mandates, period. None. And I think the airline mandate is, to me, one of the most cruel, because if you go to the beginning of COVID, I actually thought, hey, an airline, because you're in a cylinder, that may be really, really risky to be there. Well, the way they have the air filtration, fact is you just don't have outbreaks on the airplanes, and that was whether they're wearing masks or not. So you have no mask in most of society, which is really obviously good, and yet they keep clinging to this, forcing people on an airplane to wear it. And the thing is, you'll have somebody sitting in an aisle seat and they will put the mask down and fake nibble on peanuts for 2 hours so they don't have to have it covering, so they can breathe freely. And it's all a charade. I understand why they do it, because but then if someone's right next to them and they just want to breathe freely and read a magazine, somehow that's a big problem. And so this is COVID theater, but what it is they are trying to prolong the misery that these flight attendants have had to deal with. Did you see the flight attendants were crying? They were so happy when the judge ruled that they didn't have to be forced masked all day when they're in the airplanes. Most of the passengers were having a great time, saying what a relief it was. And so when you see that and you realize there's no real data behind this, why would you then try to appeal this, which is basically trying to reimpose mandates that's going to just prolong the misery for people? So I think it will be totally outrageous if they appeal this decision. I think that they have decided that they are going to do it. I don't think they're going to seek an immediate stay, which in some respects may even be worse, because you are going to have this decision in effect. People are not going to be having to wear a mask. And then if they win the appeal, you could reinstitute it somewhere down the line. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I think we've just got to get beyond this. But it does go to, why are they doing this? And I think part of the reason they're doing it is because they like to exercise power over the people that they govern. They like to be able to take decisions out of your hands and force a mask on your face, force kids to muzzle, force people to lose their job if they don't take a COVID vax. All the things they've done to use the coercive power of the state to take away your freedoms over the last 2 years. And there's a reason why we're known as the free state of Florida, because we never muzzled you in Florida. We never imposed a mask mandate in this state. We made sure kids were in school 5 days a week, all the way back in 2020 when no other major states were doing that. We made sure everyone could work, businesses like this could operate, and we said nobody should lose their job based on these jabs. You have a right to work, and they can't force you to do it. And the same thing about going out and living in society. Other parts of our country, you have to show medical papers just to be able to go into a restaurant and have a meal. In Florida, we ban that. And so there's a reason why we led the nation in domestic tourism in 2021, why we even beat New York in foreign tourism, and why we never had such a strong year for domestic. It's because of the stark contrast with treating people with respect, protecting their freedoms, letting them make their own decisions, not constantly badgering them with different types of restrictions and mandates. And here's the thing I think people need to know is, yes, a lot of this stuff is now unpopular, so there's elections coming up. As soon as we get by those elections, people that are inclined to lockdown policies, they will absolutely try to do it again. They will absolutely do it. So the only way to be sure that it doesn't happen again is to not elect anybody who embraces those policies. And I can tell you in Florida, you know, with me in this chair, your freedoms are protected. Thanks.